Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Thursday night edition of the Real Chat Daddy Show. I am your host, Chat Daddy, and I have another great show planned for your viewing and listening pleasure this evening. It is Thursday. Glad to be here with you guys. A hot and humid day here in the Chicagoland area. We're expecting rain, I think, over the weekend is what the meteorologists have been saying. Well, coming up on tonight's show, my good friend, music executive and humanitarian, Mr. Kevin Ross, he's back tonight. And he and I are going to have a heart-to-heart conversation about the city of Chicago. Kevin moved here roughly 25 years ago. I'm a lifelong citizen, and we're going to compare our notes tonight on the city of Chicago. Some of the woes, some of the things we like. You guys can add your comments, and we'll put them up there on the screen when we get to that segment. And then later on in the show this evening, my former radio show cast will be joining me. Some of the cast members will be here tonight. Some of the crew that helped behind the scenes, and we're going to have a wonderful conversation. It's reunion time, and everyone is getting together. And so instead of us doing it on another platform, I figured we would do it here tonight. And we have people who were there from the very beginning of the start of the show at WVON to the final day. So it should be a good conversation. All right. Other than that, we're going to give you the latest COVID-19 update numbers of the day, and we're just going to make it do what it do. That's what we do around here. Glad you guys are here. You see my exciting new way of coming in now each night. Every night, the show is getting better and better. We're working on other things to improve the sound quality of the show. I know a lot of you guys are saying when the show starts, it's almost like going to a movie at the Rose Theater on 79th Street, right? The mouth is moving. And the audio is not there. We're trying to work on all those issues. And don't forget, the show is now on Periscope, which is, I guess, through Twitter. I'm trying to learn all of this, but you can now go on Twitter, follow Chat Daddy on Twitter, and you'll be able to see the show right on Twitter. Don't play my show. I don't know. It's not cheap. Technology savvy. That's what it is. All right. So our guest co-host is here with us this evening. My good friend, music executive, humanitarian. Recently, he had some wonderful little tit-a-tays on the corner in Hyde Park, social distancing, but just something to stimulate people's minds. As you guys all know, all over the world, in Italy, people were DJing on their balconies, singing to neighbors, things like that. And we kind of need to get that going here in the United States, and especially here in Chicago. We've had so many issues, so we could do something loving and fun. I think people will enjoy it. All right, so let's bring in my friend, Mr. Kevin Ross. What up, brother?
What up? What up?
How are you,
my brother?
How you doing?
May the funk be with you, Mr. George Clinton.
Yeah. How you doing tonight?
I'm good, man. God is good. God is good.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, let's situate you a little bit. Pull your camera over a little bit more.
Where should I go, left or right? What are we trying to?
I don't know. What are we doing? That's good. Yeah, right. Okay, yeah. Don't get the
other stuff in
the background. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah. Wonderful.
There we go.
Beautiful. Yes, great light and everything. You know, we dark-skinned men. You know, we'll fade in a minute. Yeah,
you ain't lying.
Well, good to see you tonight.
Like Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, I know. We'll just fade in the background. So, you know, I'm just like, ooh, let me be careful. So good lighting is always essential. I'm telling you, when you're dark skinned. All right, what's going on?
I got my joint in the background.
Yeah,
hey, you know, first of all, I gotta say, all praises to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Start everything off with that. Secondly, I gotta say thank you to you. Anytime I get the call from you, I'm ecstatic. You know how I feel. It's like getting a call for the Tonight Show for me. So I'm good to go.
Well, Kevin, I appreciate you so much. And what I enjoy more than anything is great conversation with my co-hosts. Each and every co-host is selected for different reasons, whether it's friendship, you know, business relationship, whatever it is. I know great people, and I want the world to know great people that I know. And you and I just have a wonderful dialogue whenever we talk. And so tonight, we're going to talk about the woes and pluses of Chicago, right?
Yep, that's the deal. That's the deal. You know, most people that know me know that I am a transplant from California, originally from Sacramento, but I was born, like our future vice president, in Oakland, California, like Kamala. Sorry, we got to make sure we get it
Kamala
right.
Harris. Right, let's
Kamala
get it right.
Harris. If you don't get it
Kamala
right,
Harris.
you will get
Right,
roasted. So Kamala
right.
Harris.
Now
So
look, wait, let
she,
me say this real quick. She just like some chick you dudes trying to holler at. Get it right or you won't get your none. That's how that
that's
works. So
it.
get it right.
Yeah.
Get it right. Yeah.
Except these are federal budgets. So we
Yes.
don't want to get caught on the wrong side of that.
Very good.
So yeah, I was
Yes.
born in Oakland and raised in Sacramento, California. Lived in LA before I moved to Chicago. So I've been here about 24 years now. And I came here originally working for Motown Records. After the first winter, I thought I was going to be up out of here, Jack. Man, coming from California and that snow, I said, no way, Jose. But I
Right.
have grown to love Chicago. I am an official transplant at this point. It looks like this is where I'm going to be. I can't seem to find a wife yet, but we'll get to that on my list of Chicago things to address. Dating and culture. We're gonna talk about that. But
So,
this is
brother,
where I'm gonna be.
Wait, I got your list while I was having coffee this morning. And
Okay.
trust and believe everything on your list. I can't wait to talk to you about. I cannot wait.
Right.
I'm with you 100%. I have input everything that's on your list.
Right.
Okay, good. All right. Well, let's start off with the daily COVID-19 update.
Sorry, I don't understand.
Wait. My assistant speaking. Wait, hold on.
Uh-oh.
I know. It's the computer. Wait, okay. Look, too many things that do too many things.
Yeah, all right. No, you made me get that Ethernet cable and all this newfangled technology.
Look, I tell everybody, you got to get high tech. If you're not high tech, you will not be able to keep up. This is the way
lose out.
Future. Don't lose out. So stay high tech, you guys. All right. So listen, the Illinois Department of Health announced today 1,832 new confirmed cases of coronavirus of COVID-19. Unfortunately, we had 27 additional deaths. Earlier today, it was reported that 2,295 new confirmed cases, and that was just from earlier today. The highest daily case total since May 24th. The state is now reporting 213,721 cases, and our total of fatalities would be 7,833. And so, Kevin, from what I'm understanding, the governor is saying that the numbers are rising in what they consider the collar counties, downstate, places like that, places where I guess people may be vacationing or not taking this as serious, but then the numbers are rising back here in Chicago as well, too.
Right. Well, what happens with coronavirus is in the more concentrated areas, or what they call urban, if you don't practice the social distancing, if you have these maverick events where it's hundreds of people, that causes the numbers to go back up. And then there is a metric that the government is using and that the state is using to decide whether or not it is safe to do certain things. So in other words, level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. Well, level 1 was the complete shutdown. Level 2 was getting back in the mix a little bit. Level 3, and then level 4 obviously is we're wide open and ready to go. Well, we're moving backwards. We're moving backwards. We're moving back to probably level 2, which is going to mean some closures. They just closed Navy Pier as of September 8th. Navy Pier will be closed down. And that's a big money maker for the city. So obviously we have an issue. But what Art, here's another problem. There's just not a cohesive, concise message coming from above, known as the government, that says this is what we need to do. This is where we are. These are the countries that mitigated this. This is how they did it. This is what we're going to do. We just don't have that. Then we don't have anyone that's really impressing upon people the importance of what it's going to take to do this. And all you need to do is take a look at Facebook stories to see that everybody's thinking it's back to normal, and it's not. We're going to have.
brother.
You know what I'm saying?
There are so many people suffering right now.
Man.
Our job rate is back up again. Now people are not getting any extra supplement or benefits from the United States government. Keep in mind, Canada is taking care of their people like you would not believe. And believe it or not, the country of Brazil has been known for taking care of their people. And Brazil is known for great poverty, but yet still wealth, but they still. So the United States is lagging right now on a lot of different things, and it's affecting a lot of people. And it does not matter the color. So we need to stop making it a race issue. Yes.
It's really not. It's a United States issue at this point. And as you and I move forward this evening and we address some of the issues in Chicago, you'll find that those issues in Chicago are simply a microcosm of a much larger problem that we're facing in the United States as a whole. You dig? You still understand?
Good. Yes. All right. Well, good. Let me get the news over because I want to get into that conversation. So last night was evening 3 of the virtual Democratic convention. And last night, I probably said the wrong place. It was in Connecticut, you guys. I said Delaware. Oops, sorry, Connecticut. The virtual, last night we had the pleasure of seeing Hillary Clinton. She was the first female to run for president of the United States. I got to give Hillary a shout out. She looked really well last night. Her handlers or groomers, they had her looking beautiful, very refreshed. Of course, our former president number 44, Mr. Barack H. Obama. Incredible. That's all I can say on that.
AKA drop the mic.
Yes, amen. And speaking of AKA, Miss Kamala Harris took to the stage last night and she wowed us. She razzle dazzled. She did what she came to do. And man, I was impressed last night. I think I like the virtual convention. I enjoy seeing the people with the hats on. Crowd and all that, but really I felt as if they were talking directly to me last night. I enjoyed every moment of the convention last night.
I agree with you 100%. As a matter of fact, last night was good, but the night before, when they were doing the nominations from different parts of the United States and everybody was standing with their particular state, whatever represents their state in the background, I thought that was hot. Right. I'm not even going to lie. Yeah. I thought it was hot. Yeah. And to be honest with you, I think we're looking at the future of these type of events. I believe that even when COVID starts to subside somewhat, we're going to be looking at the future at these type of events,
Well, the one thing that we need to look at in this country is that our infrastructure must improve. It should be mandatory that every home has internet access. Every place has high-speed internet access. You go to some foreign countries, you're able to, be on the train or, in the subway and use the internet. So hopefully that'll change and then we can get this economy back going as well, too.
Right. Well, another, part of that is again, not educating people as to what a government for the people is, rather than scaring them with these boogeyman things like socialism and Marxism. That's not what universal health care is. That's not what universal education for all is. That's not what federal aid when a United States citizen needs it. That's not what it is. You have some people that actually think that it's a favor when you receive unemployment, when you've been paying into unemployment most of your whole life. So we don't educate enough about what is really considered a very solid country that could cope with something like this. But the proof is in the pudding. You look at the other nations that have some of the things in place that you just spoke of, and they've managed to handle this very well.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Well, with that being said, tonight is the final evening of the Democratic Convention. Tonight, you will be reintroduced to 77-year-old party nominee for the Democratic Party, Mr. Joe Biden. Our former vice president has had a long history in the Democratic Party, young senator. We all know the backstory, lost his wife, daughter, Uncle Joe. That's what we call him, Uncle Joe.
Mm-hmm.
And so tonight he will present himself, and he's trying to upheave our current president, President Donald Trump. And then, to be fair, I am going to look at the Republican convention next week.
Of course.
I don't know how in tuned I'll be, but to be fair and biased, I will tune in to the Republican convention. So, tonight is the night. Once we wrap this news program up, I'm excited to see what good old Uncle Joe has to say. Kamala shouted out her sorority sisters. I said, Lord, if nothing else, the AKA is going to win this election. I said, look, AKA, they're going to come from around the world to make sure they vote. You understand? So, yes.
Look, in college, I dated AKAs and Deltas. Now, of course, I have to shout out my Zeta sisters so that they don't get upset at me. Blue Phi, got to say it. But in college, the love of my life was an AKA. And let me tell you, AKAs right now are flying so high that you are not going to be able to talk to an AKA for at least 2 years.
The opinions of my co-hosts are his and not mine. I hope all of my girlfriends, y'all call me. Look, right, I want to be there every step of the way. Yes, amen. Well, congratulations to the AKAs and all of Divine Nine for all that you do. But it's just, I'm like, Lord have mercy. Them women going to be coming from Timbuktu to vote. Yeah. I'm just telling you now. Look, it's going to be a sea pink and green everywhere. So I'll just leave it at that. Congratulations. All right.
Absolutely.
So we are. Yes. So for those of you all that are just joining us, welcome to the Thursday night edition of the Real Chat Daddy Show. I am your host, Chat Daddy. Glad to be here with you guys on a hot and humid Thursday evening here in the Chicagoland area, but that's okay. We got you covered. Tonight, my co-host is my good buddy, Mr. Kevin Ross, music executive, entrepreneur, all around great guy. And tonight, we're going to have an interesting conversation about Chicago. He and I both love this city, but then there are some things that we really would love to see change in this city. And this really came as a meeting of the mind in a really quick and easy phone call. And I was like, oh my God, I finally get to have this conversation with somebody. All right. So listen, do me a favor, hit the share button. Start a watch party. If you are a true Chicagoan, or even if you visit Chicago, a lot of you all would come here for the summer to visit or for the weekend. Kevin and I are going to kind of explain our city from both sides of it, and it'll give you a great understanding of the city of Chicago. All right, so Brother Kevin, where do you want us to start on our list? Let me see. We said families, parenting, and concerns. Brother Kevin, I did not bring my tambourine tonight, so I got to find something to bang on when you hit it, because you're gonna have to hit it. You know what I'm saying? I'm still watching off the streets. You know what I'm saying? People, right. See, you might be used to people knocking you out, but let's go. I'm ready.
You ready to rock and roll? Okay, so
I'm ready.
In our conversation last night, you and I spoke about Chicago, and we spoke about representation, and it kind of gave way to a different conversation as to what are the problems and what are the solutions, what are the possible solutions that we can be looking at here. Now, first of all, let's set the table and understand two things. Our elected officials are not saviors. We have to start to understand that. We have to understand that our elected officials are the top of the structure, but below are the citizens who can hold them accountable, right? So we have to understand that. And that's the first thing. The second thing is there is no one solution for all of this at all. There's no simple solution. Let's just be honest about it. There's not. Now, I used to be everything is black or white, it's this or it's that. Well, that's not exactly true. That's not the case here.
And look, that's not how I live my life, and that's not how I've ever lived my life. I've lived my life with a diverse, right, exactly. And I know some people of our race who have never even had friends outside of their own race.
Which is a problem, because at that point you don't have an opportunity to experience different input that can enrich the who you are and help enrich your being and strengthen you and educate you. And that's what leads to understanding. Education leads to understanding. And so when we don't have that, we have an issue. So what I wanted to start out with tonight, because you had me last night at Kevin, I didn't even say it. I said, yes, I am. Yes, we will. Yes, we can.
Yes, we will. Yes, and that's why we're here tonight. That's why we're here.
Yeah. So I started off with a little research, and I just kind of looked at some things and some of my own personal thoughts. And the first thing is they took a poll and they asked people what they thought were the biggest issues in Chicago. And it was pretty comprehensive. It was a good cross section of African Americans. And they asked, what did you think the problems were from a family standpoint or a parenting standpoint? Because, kids, children, and women are the basis of our culture. So if we're not paying attention to those things, the culture will falter and it will fall.
Right.
So they took a poll, and what they said was there were 10 areas of concern. And number one was gun violence.
Yes.
Was one of the number one issues, and that's, that's obvious. We're dealing with that on a regular basis. So what are the solutions for gun violence? What are some of the solutions? How do we get started dealing with gun violence? I think that we've seen some buyback programs. I think we've seen a number of different attempts to really address gun violence. But you see, a gun is just like this chapstick. This does nothing until I open it and use it, right? Until I do this. This is when it becomes useful. So the gun is only a reflection of the person holding it. How do we address these young people? The average age is 22, 21. If you're looking at the looting and you're looking at the rioting, it's 22, 24, 28. Sometimes you get somebody who's 30 years old. How do we address?
Let me stop you just for a minute, because I'm going to interject some things. Actually, there were some people 40 and over down there looting as well, too.
Oh, I'm sure. So no question.
I'm going to just say it. It was families, all of that. That's a damn shame, y'all. Okay, so we just going to say it. We don't just put it out there. That's a damn shame. Okay. All right, I digress.
And let's be clear also, a rioter and a thief is not an activist. That is not the same thing. So let's make sure that we keep the separation, because the media would have us believe that it's all inclusive. That's not what it is. A rioter and a thief is not a protester, is not Black Lives Matter, is not somebody who is trying to organize our community. Let's get that straight off the gate. So the question becomes, how do we address these young people? How do we address these young men and women who rest assured, there were plenty of women down there as well.
Absolutely.
Young women.
All I saw were flip-flops and furry house shoes. Okay.
Can you believe that? Could you believe that video?
Look, who goes looting in flip-flops and house shoes? If you gonna loot, baby, loot right. You don't go in flip-flops and house shoes. I
was outdone. Only thing that outdid me more was the girl who was walking through with her phone active, live, videoing herself looking for things to steal, and that's how they found her. I'm just wondering again.
This really does beg the question: what did we do to regain that particular demographic of people? These are our people, and we have to be responsible for our own people. We are always preaching it takes a village. We always preaching I got your back. But when will that ever step in place? When will that ever be where we really do have each other's back?
See, you and I work so well together because that's literally what I posted the other day. It used to be that it takes a village. Well, that's been replaced with where are the parents? Let's acknowledge that ship has sailed for right now. Let's acknowledge that the where are the parents ship, the parents aren't coming back around. most of the parents are what they are. It is what it is. So when do we as a community begin to take responsibility for our own communities and those within these communities? That's the real issue. Expecting the parents, well, the parents should do the job. Well, we knew years ago that parents were getting younger, but we
Right.
as older people, we didn't really. What did we do? All we did is complain. All we did is criticize, and we left them to try to raise their kids on their own. And now you see what the results of that are.
Exactly.
You see what the results of that are.
You have to keep in mind that we came from the generation that if you got a young lady pregnant, you better be trying to marry her. If you didn't, that was taking that in a wrong direction. That type of upbringing no longer exists within our households. And here's the deal. It's not uncommon just in our house. It's not just in our households. It's in others as well. But it's predominantly in our household where that sense of family and parenting, you've not done it.
Right. And I also want to note that surprisingly, teen pregnancies are down over the last 5 years. They're actually down. So what we're seeing behaviorally is the blind leading the blind. I've always said that when I work with artists and an artist comes to me and say, yeah, such and such told me that I need to do this and we gonna do this. I'm like, the two of you ain't gonna do nothing because the two of you are still learning from me. You guys don't know that yet. So our children are the same way. They're not looking at Art Sims or Kevin Ross or whoever. They're looking at each other, and they're seeking guidance from their peers. And when they're not seeking guidance from their peers, they're getting it from social media, and they're getting it from celebrities, or they're getting it from artists, or they're getting whatever, which is something that's been a question for years. Should we, how do we not allow for our kids to be raised by the culture rather than by the parents? And that's tough because every kid has a phone. Every single kid has a phone starting at age 6, 7. I've been to 3 barbecues in the last month, and all of the kids were off in a corner somewhere nice and quiet. You know why? Because the parents gave them their phone and let them go. So everything is in that phone, is in the digital spectrum. So for me, if you ask me, I believe we're going to have to start using the digital platform to reach our children and reach these next generation of leaders.
Well, that's the new form of how everything is being done. We just said, look at the convention is virtual. Let's look at how I present my product and put it out there. It's a lot of different things that we really do have to look at, as you said, because here's the deal. Now, if traditional school was to ever go back in, I feel as if these young people need to be in vocational training, some type of vocational training that would give them something that they can do. I mentored some young people a couple of years ago, and any of the young men who went to go get a vocational type of training, they're working and have been working. You know what I'm saying? Where the other young men who were trying to pursue other forms of living, they still have not, it has not taken off for them. And so I think to help protect the future of our young people, vocational training is essential. Right.
I agree 100%. And you also need to give them things that stimulate them other than a phone. They need to have activities. They need to have things where they're connecting, because that same digital device has also contributed to a disconnect. You're now connected to your phone, so you don't have to speak directly to someone anymore. You don't shake hands. You don't hug. You don't do those things. Well, we're not going to be, COVID, obviously, but there's been a disconnect because of the advance of the digital. So we need to find something that can replace that, or add to that at least. You know what I mean? It used to be that we would say, well, you're going to read books and we're going to do all this just to get you educated, and no sports for you. Well, now maybe sports is a way. Maybe these after school programs. And as I go down my list, you'll see why we're having a problem when you lose these things as a result of budget cuts, when schools are not properly financed, you begin
Right.
to lose a lot of the tools and a lot of the elements that can help sustain some of these needs, and we're
Right.
losing those. And Art, here's the thing. Here's the killer. Let me run through the list real quick. So we've got gun
Okay.
violence, we've got poverty. Bullying was number three. That was a number three concern for parents. We've
Huge
got
issue.
huge issue again, connected to what? That device,
Yes.
connected to the device. There was a lack of adult supervision was a problem. There were parents who said they watch their kids, but they know parents who don't watch their kids. So you and I actually just touched on that. So
Right.
that was a problem. So they also said one of the bigger problems is racism. They said racism here in Chicago is still very prevalent. It's still an issue. Racism and a lot of the separation of the communities and whatnot. They're saying that
Because
was an issue,
we're still a very segregated city here. We're
and that's
still
what
very. We,
that's what you and I are gonna touch on.
and then here's the crazy piece: we're segregated in our own communities. We as
That is
African Americans segregate each other. I'm like, oh Lord, you got to be kidding me. Who does that?
well, when you learn from your oppressor, you learn very well. So you learn that the West Side and the South Side is different, or you convince yourself that it's different. You convince
Right.
yourself that going downtown is like going to a foreign country. So most people are afraid to go downtown. I was shocked when I moved here, and I was driving all over Chicago trying to learn Chicago. There were people who said, "You're going downtown?" I'm like, "What is this, Roots?" Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
going downtown.
No,
You should be going downtown too.
you are from somewhere else, and people said that to you. I know
Yes.
people who at one point thought 63rd and Halsted was downtown Chicago. At one point in my lifetime, African Americans considered 63rd and Halsted, downtown.
Yep.
So yes, downtown
Right.
was something that you got dressed up to do, or you were going to court, or you went to handle business, or maybe your mom or dad worked in an office somewhere. But downtown was a treat. It was not something, you would go to the movies down there and Ronnie's Steakhouse.
Right. Right.
Right.
I mean, and I also, one of the other things I had, people would like be living out way in the suburbs, like 180th and Sibley or whatever. And I'm
Right.
the person who lives in Hyde Park or lives in Oak Park, and you know what they would say? "Ooh, you live so far away." Hey, wait a minute.
Yes.
The center of the city starts at Michigan Avenue. The
Right.
city.
It does. It does.
You're
It
the
does.
one that lives. You're the one that lives far away.
Well, now, Kevin, I do want to, so we don't lose time, I do want to kind of move us forward. Let's talk about dating and forward-thinking cultures here in this city. I think you and I probably could have a good line again, saying that, Hyde Park or Oak Park, you're absolutely right. My mother used to say to me, and God rest her soul, today is the day she passed, don't date nobody on the West Side because that's too far for you to be going to, hang out with somebody. And I used to say, what? And so I had a huge thing about not hanging out with people on the West Side.
Wow.
Right.
Well,
right. She's
not a surprise.
Right.
I think that again, it's all of these things we're talking about when it relates to culture are learned behaviors. Somebody teaches somebody, somebody teaches somebody, and they pass it on. So when we talk about dating, I have to be very careful here because I've had some good experiences and I've had some that ain't so good. But I think that's
change the names to protect the guilty. Change the names to protect the guilty.
Okay.
That's what we said on the show.
Yeah. All right.
There we go.
I'm just trying to be cool and have some type of following after this.
You can even say Exhibit A or Exhibit B.
Right.
Right, but we changed the names to protect the guilty on this show. Yes, I had to put that disclaimer out there. Yes.
So in my top 5 list, there's something I wrote down called trust. So trust really starts at the top. I think trust starts with our government. It starts with our officials. and it starts with like our law enforcement, and then it trickles down into our neighborhoods and our aldermen, and it's a community structure and a community feeling of trust. I think
Right.
when you don't have trust at the top level, because Chicago historically has had an issue with politics and the system hasn't been trustworthy. So when you have it at the top, that trickles down into your into society and into your culture. So then people start to not trust each other. So they start to
Oh,
not trust each other first. They start to not trust each other in business. Then they start to not trust each other personally. Then everything becomes a hustle. So here's what I think. From the women that I've dated and the conversations that I've had, and the guys that I've talked to and guys who are my friends and whatnot or my peers, um, we have a bit of a problem here in Chicago where I think a lot of men and women are trying to hustle each other and trying to come up and see who can, he can take me to dinner. She can cook for me. She has a good job. She's got her own place. He's, got a nice car. We're really stuck on a lot of that here in Chicago between the ages of 24 and 50. And I'm sorry if you don't like what I'm saying. You can always feel free to unfriend me on Facebook. I won't be offended. But at the end of the day, that's kind of where we are. There's a real lack of trust. This in this city, I've seen more married men get away with more than I've seen in any city I've lived in, and I've lived in LA. I've lived in, I've worked in New York. I've been to Philly. I've been to Atlanta. I've seen married men get away with more here than anywhere. Look at Chat Daddy. Go ahead, put that mask on, homie. Put it on. Put it on. Um, and vice versa. Okay, come on, man. I'm trying to be serious. And vice,
listen, listen, wait a minute. You done delivered a whole sermon on this show tonight, and really, I'm gonna be honest. You ain't lying, dude. You ain't lying. I mean, I hate to say
I'm just
it.
telling it, man.
And look, please don't unfriend the man. We have very truthful conversations on this show. We hope that people learn a lot from this show. Oftentimes, we say things that other people necessarily would not want to say, but we have to because really, it's a lot of great people in this city, Kevin. But you're right. People are playing too many games with each other, and
Too many games.
They become very vengeful. People are
Right.
lonely. They want to meet somebody.
Right.
I've traveled to other East Coast cities. I've had some of the best friends and times, and I've gone to the South and had just wonderful times with people in the South, even out West. But it's something about here in this city and the Midwest, even the Midwest,
Right.
the more bigger cities, that it's I think something better will come along. And that's just not on your side of the fence. You get what I'm saying? People in the South build relationships. People on the East Coast meet like-minded people like themselves, and they work with each other. On the West Coast, same thing. Here, it's a bit different. I know a lot of women, and I just think these are beautiful, talented women that could use a good, loving man. And interesting. I digress because look, you done laid it out.
Look, I've had more one-off dates than The Bachelor, and I can't explain it. Perhaps it's me. I don't know. I've had people tell me, "Well, you're not from here. You don't talk like you're from here. You're not." Well, that's true, but that shouldn't be, indicative of how you respond to people who aren't from Chicago. If anything, that people from outside, and again, as we speak on a national level and a global level, people who come from outside enrich a culture. They help build a culture. They help teach things differently. And I think in Chicago, I think brothers need to learn how to respect women a little bit more, how to value women here a little bit more. And I think women need to learn how to respond a little bit better, be a little more open. Again, I know that one is a result of another. I know that being closed off is a result of bad experiences. I get that. But at some point, we're going to have to draw a line in the sand as men and women here, because Chicago does have some great professional African-American men and women. And we need to realize at some point that we're on the same page, but that doesn't seem to happen here. It's, and I don't mean completely. I mean just
Right.
for a
Yeah.
large sector,
Yeah. Yes.
it doesn't happen. Yeah, it doesn't happen. And I think that again, you have to, if you can't be honest with yourself, then you're not going to be able to be honest with somebody else. And that's all where it all starts. If you're having issues and you're not ready to date, don't date. If you're having issues and you're not ready to be in a relationship, don't be in a relationship. But people seem to move forward regardless of that, and that's an
Right.
issue. And
Right.
I think that we need to be better about those type of things. And now I have a good friend, Angela Holton. Angela is a dating and relationship coach. I think we all need to start, myself included, start looking at getting some help when it relates to dating, and perhaps there's something in my presentation. Perhaps there's something in your presentation. Perhaps there's something in the way we're being received. We need to start looking at really getting deep into who we are so that we can become better people for each other. And I
Mm.
just think that, culturally, it's an issue. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
kind of how I feel about it.
I look, brother. You've done a great job. I'm telling you, when we just had the few minor words last night, I said, listen, I just want two intelligent black men to have a conversation. But what I
Right.
enjoyed more than anything is you are really a transplant to Chicago, and you've been
Right.
here 24 years, and really the same things you are saying, I pretty much feel the same way too. Like, we could be so much more loving to each other,
Hmm.
try to build relationships. In the South, family is huge. It's very important. You know what I'm saying?
Huge.
Now
Huge.
the other you put out there about the married men, that's huge everywhere too. But
Right.
here in Chicago, we seem to have so many broken families, broken
Right.
homes,
Right.
not structure like people used to have. Nowadays, people
Right.
like, oh, no, y'all ain't coming to stay with me. I ain't got no room. Y'all,
Right.
and look at the number of
Right.
home families, and so it's a lot to look at.
Hmm. I agree, and I think too, when I first moved here, I had a hard time because I saw that a lot of men and women knew each other from high school, and they keep those relationships, and a lot of times you still act and think as you did in high school. You date the
Right,
person that you knew in high school. You marry the person that you knew in high school. When people would, and now I understand, having been here 24 years, of course, I understand the importance of schools because it's so segregated here that your high school was your haven. Where you went to high school, like that's a part of you. That's your haven. So now I understand that in
oh wait,
California,
Kevin, real quick, let me throw this in there. In Chicago, it's your high school and your church. Those are the
yeah,
two right. Those are the two.
right,
If
right,
you on the gospel side, Christian side of it, it's your church. Then for
yes,
everybody else, it's your high school, and
it's your
then
high
it's
school,
your culture. Then it's your culture. That's how that
right,
works here in Chicago. Right,
right. And so what I found is, I couldn't really. It was difficult for me because a lot of women were dealing only with men that they already knew, and they were sticking with men that they already knew, whether it was from high school, whether it was after high school, whether they
right,
ran into them at the house music festival, whether they ran into them at Intas, whether they ran into them at the Click, whether they ran into them at the Cotton Club, all of those joints when I first moved here. Well, and that's not to say that I didn't, have dates and have relationships here, but a good majority of the people stuck with people that they knew. Chicagoans are kind of, again, very in groups, very cliquish. So when you stay in this thing, you don't have an opportunity to see what's over here. When you stay here, you don't have an opportunity to see how am I doing this back over here. You don't have an
right.
opportunity to grow these things, and like our neighborhoods. So the neighborhoods reflect the culture. The neighborhoods reflect the people, and that's exactly, I think, kind of one of the things that we need to get better about is, and it all boils down to trust. You have to trust, and you have to open yourself up, and
Right.
until we can do those kinds of things, then we're not going to be able to grow and
I love
advance. And that's,
it.
you know
before we run out of time, I do want to talk about our Chicago neighborhoods. You, like myself, have had our share of living various places within the city. And, you know, I'm a true Chicagoan, you're a transplant. What would you like to see as far as greater improvement in a lot of the neighborhoods here in Chicago?
Well, that's a conversation that we first have to look at how the neighborhoods got to where they are. There's a wonderful documentary that a friend of mine did called Chicago at the Crossroads. Shout out to Sister Africa Porter, that depicts Mayor Daley's plan for the projects and how Chicago got divided and how these neighborhoods got divided. Because the truth of the matter is there was housing discrimination. You had redlining in neighborhoods. So Black people got pushed out of better neighborhoods and got pushed further south and things of that nature. So that's the first thing, is to look at entrenched systemic discrimination, housing discrimination, and racial discrimination. That's the first problem. So they've replaced housing discrimination with gentrification right now. That's what you see happening. So what we have to address these things. So when I listen to Mayor Lightfoot talk, she talks about certain programs and instituting certain programs in these neighborhoods that will put money back in these neighborhoods. Let me tell you something, Art. The South Side has some of the most beautiful abandoned homes that I have ever seen in my life. Literal mansions, just abandoned.
Listen, I have always wanted what was considered a vintage place, and I wanted to retro a vintage place. And so where do you find this type of space? You find it in these neighborhoods that people don't want to live in. And you'd be surprised if you have some creativity and know what to do, the wall space, the ceiling height, the size of the rooms, all of that. So, you know, people, they snooze it. But again, you don't want to be around your people because you're scared of your peoples.
Right. If we don't invest in our own neighborhoods, how do we expect to grow them? One of the things that I was talking about when you referenced the little corner, street corner thing we have on 53rd and Hyde Park, and we call it the conscious corner. And a lot of brothers just kind of get in the corner and we have conversation. Part of that conversation the other night was, back in the days of slavery, there was much more of an appreciation for what you got. In other words, if you got $2, you knew that you needed to take 10 cents out of one of those dollars and put it somewhere, whether it was food, whether it was in the bank, whether it was whatever. You knew that you needed to take 50 cents of that and go invest in some corn or go invest in something to plant, something that has a return. So we valued these things back then because we didn't have them, because it was rare to get them. So now we take these things for granted. We don't know how to save. We don't know how to invest. We need to invest in our own neighborhoods and in our Black businesses. And there are a lot of, shout out to a lot of these organizations. These Black business organizations are doing an extremely good job this year, that more than I've ever seen, as a result of COVID-19 and as a result of the riots and the protests and the damage that was done. These Black-owned business organizations on Facebook, like Black Wall Street and the Black Mall with Cassiopeia, they're doing a fantastic job of teaching people how to support Black businesses and reinvest in our neighborhoods, keep the dollar in our neighborhoods.
And keep in mind that August is Small Black Business Awareness Month as well, too.
Yes, exactly. And I've seen a lot more activity in that direction. They had a Black business crawl the other weekend. I think the last one is this weekend. Last weekend was Hyde Park. And so, you know, there are some organizations out there that get it, that understand that the value that we expect to be treated with and we expect in our own belongings needs to be us putting that value back into ourselves, back into our communities. I've always said that one of the biggest tragedies is the loss of the Black Panther Party. The Black Panther Party taught us about community. It taught us about children. It taught us about the importance of a healthy breakfast for kids at school with their breakfast programs. The Black Panther Party taught us a lot about how to strengthen the community. And it's a
Right.
shame that things went the way they did. Of course, we could get into that another time. But that's the key at the end of the day. When you ask me about our neighborhoods, well, we've got to reinvest in our neighborhoods. And what word does it go back to, Art? It goes back to trust. TRUST.
Right. Well, now,
Trust
Kevin,
is
it's insurmountable. But here's my question to you, Kevin. I'm so shocked that Black media has not done more to embrace the community other than just telling our stories in the community. And when I mean Black media, and I know most of them are, corporately financed or sponsorship, things like that.
Sure.
But if you are the mouthpiece of a city that is suffering right now, the way Chicago is, you really need to get back out here. I know it's COVID, I get that, but figure out some way to re-engage the community in a positive direction. And I look at these media sources as the number one leaders of this. I hate to sound like number 45, but fake news or fake, a fake narrative, and not a narrative of peace and positivity.
Or not a narrative of taking responsibility. Responsibility is a huge word. That's why it's so scary, because it's so long, because it requires so much. It requires a sacrifice. So you have to take responsibility. And we were actually talking the other night, myself and some brothers, about the media. And when we have Black media, when we had BET, and BET was Black owned, it's not Black owned anymore.
No.
When we had Vibe magazine and it's Black owned, it's not Black owned anymore.
No.
We can't give away these sources, because the strength of a community is in communication, and the communication within a community is its strength, it's its voice, it's its way of communicating ideas, it's its way of communicating information. One of the things that I love to tell people, back in World War II, the advent of World War II, just before when Hitler was gathering the Jews together, the Jewish community, they used to meet in threes, only 3 people. Those 3 people would talk amongst themselves, and then they would take the information back to a group. But they didn't say, let's have a big rally and tell everybody our plan.
Right.
The 3 people would come back, and they would meet in secret and go back to their homes, and then they would give the information out. And there was the strength, their communication. When we don't do that, we lose something in the translation.
That's right.
We lose things in the translation. So we have to value communication. We have to value the strength of communication. And as you said, right on point, our personalities, our celebrities, our artists, things of that nature have to step up to the plate, not just when somebody is killed by the police. This needs to be a concerted effort, because the best way to do something is to do it repeatedly. You make it a habit. Repetition breeds excellence. So we can't just get upset when somebody's killed by the police. When there's an off week, we should be trying to figure out something else. We should be talking about what's new. Hey, what's going on in this community? Why are there shootings in Inglewood? Why are children 4 years old, 5 years old, 7 years old? This is not a game anymore, Art. This is really serious, man.
Kevin, listen. I have a feed all day long of what is going on in the city of Chicago, and I narrowed the feed down just to the south side of Chicago. There is
Absolutely.
so lunacy that is going on that is just absolutely it's ridiculous. I now see why there's a mad exodus out of Chicago. There are currently 13,000 empty apartments in New York. So imagine New York, someplace that people would have to read the obituaries to get an apartment. Here in Chicago, people are exiting this city as well too. And the thing is, this is a world-class city, but I don't get why crime is at an all-time high. Is it because people are not working? Because the people who are usually doing this, they're young. They probably have never had a job to begin with.
Well, that's part of it, Art. Another thing we have to look at is we have to look at the system. When you have a system of law enforcement that has a history of mismanagement, has a history of improper procedure. I mean, this is a history. All of the things that you and I are talking about, these problems are 60, 70 years old.
Yes.
At some point, they have to be solved. We can't keep saying poverty in our neighborhoods. We can't keep saying poor health care. We can't keep saying there's been police issues here since the 30s, since the great riot, since the great Chicago riot of 1920 something.
Right.
You know, when a police officer failed to arrest someone who threw a rock at a young black man and killed him, and he fell in the lake and he drowned. We've had police problems since then. When does it get fixed? If we don't fix the system, and I don't mean piece by piece, because when you have something that's entrenched, you can't take this and think this is going to help fix it. You can't do this. I can't do this and get anything done. If I try to get something done with just this, I'm not going to do it when it's entrenched. This all has to come apart in order for something to happen.
Yes.
So we can't keep saying that we've got these issues and they're 80 years old and we haven't fixed them in Chicago. And we also can't expect a mayor to come in and be a savior and fix them in 1 year or 2 years or 4 years or 8 years or 16 years.
I'm so sick and tired of reading on social media where people want to, belittle Mayor Lightfoot. Keep in mind,
that's not the plan.
She came into an entanglement, and we already know what an entanglement is. You understand me? She came into a weave. And then here's the deal. Keep in mind all of this. Who in a million years thought the first African-American mayor of the city of Chicago, female mayor of the city of Chicago, would serve her term during a pandemic?
Come on, man.
Looting and rioting.
Racial unrest across the nation, a pandemic. She had to deal with, she came in on the tail end of the Van Dyke shooting and the results of that. She had to come in with the Jussie Smollett. She had to come in with a whole bunch of problems as a first-time mayor. And we do this to our elected officials, and we look at them as somehow saviors. You still have people that criticize Barack Obama. I mean, when are we going to take the responsibility?
Right.
When do we step up and say, hey, because what happened was, and I can be real about this, Barack Obama got elected, and we sat back and we kicked it. We thought the job was finished. We got a black man in office, game over. Everything's cool now. That's not the plan. That should not have been the plan. We shouldn't have been sitting back. So we sat back, and then we thought Hillary was going to do the job for us. And you see the results of that. That's not going to happen. And I can tell you something else, and I'm going to give you this little, I know you and I don't like to do politics on here, so I'm not going to go into it too deep, but I'm going to give you this little tidbit on, you're going to be the first one to receive this on Chat Daddy's show. Donald Trump could realistically be elected for a second term if we're not careful. If they haven't fixed the Electoral College, they haven't corrected that, they haven't addressed that. That's still a segment of 6-7% of voters that can make hey brother, hey, you better put that over your eyes. Because I'm telling you what I know. I'm telling you that I'm reading the small print. I'm reading the fine print. Biden may be 8 points, 10 points ahead in some polls, but in the Central Gallup poll of voters, he's 4 points ahead, and there is a 6-point margin of error. So you take Biden being ahead 4, but that 6-point margin means he's behind 2 points, behind Trump. Trump's approval rating over the last 2 weeks has started to tick back up. It's back in the 40s again. It was in 30s at first. It's in the high 30s. Now starting to get back into the 40s. After everything that he's done, after everything he hasn't done, after everything that he said, he could realistically get reelected again if we're not careful. So let's not sell. I love Kamala, and Joe's okay. But before we start clapping and hallelujah, there's a real job that has to be done because that man could potentially get reelected in this country. Remember, we're still in a country that still has a broken system. That's how a Donald Trump could be born. That's how Donald Trump could be elected. And that's how Donald Trump potentially could be reelected if we don't take the responsibility as citizens and take care of it. And that whole mail, United States Postal Service, do not underestimate the fact that they still got some of those boxes off the street, and those boxes are still sitting. I don't care if Nancy Pelosi pulled that man into court tomorrow. Those mailboxes are sitting right now in storage that they pulled off the street.
Okay. All right. Well, with that being said, if enough has not been said tonight, and Kevin, as always, you have a lot to say. And as always, I have to do the disclaimer. The views of my co-host tonight was his and his and his.
His and his alone.
Wait. Did I agree with some of them? With that being said, I hope you guys have enjoyed that segment. The goal of this whole conversation was just how can we help Chicago? How can we do things a little bit better? It's a great city, you guys. It really is a world-class city for a lot of you all that work in tourism, hospitality, retail, even our medical workers, just, people that make the heartbeat of this city, bartenders. I mean, I just think Lyft, Uber drivers, all of that, everybody is suffering right now. And this is just a really horrific time for us all. And this show was designed to give you guys a little hope and inspiration in your evening, make you laugh. All of my guests are just really great friends and noted people as well too. Do me a favor, go over to YouTube and hit the subscribe button on the Real Chat Show. Just hit that subscribe button, baby. It does not cost you anything. I will not knock at your door on Saturday morning. I won't, none of that. No, you won't get a bill in the mail. Also go over to Facebook, The Real Chat Daddy Show, like it there, start a watch party, do what's necessary. Coming up on Monday night show, I have another great show planned for your listening pleasure. We're going to continue listening and viewing pleasure. I got to get used to that. Monday night, we're going to continue our conversation about race. We have a Chicago native, Mr. Michael Fosberg. He'll be joining us, and he has created a national dialogue on race and identity since 2001. He has a wonderful memoir we're going to talk about on Monday night, so make sure you're here so we can continue this conversation about race. And then we have I think she's either 22 or 23-year-old doctor. She's a child prodigy. I guess once you've been a child prodigy, you stay a child prodigy, right? Even when you get grown. Isn't that right, Kevin?
That's it.
Well, long story short, this woman is 22, 23, has a doctorate degree. Dr. Tess Emery will join us, and how she did it was through Excel learning. And now that a lot of you now that a lot of you all are homeschooling, a lot of you all may not be going back to traditional schools, she's going to talk about her success story and how, you might have a really bright child that could really end up with their master's degree by the age of 15. Now, that's all I'm going to say. Yeah. And so she'll be here with us Monday night to talk about that. And so I can't wait for that show on Monday evening. Are you doing okay, sir? How you feel?
I feel great. I put on my glasses because I didn't want there to be any ill will after some of the things that I said. So I just
listen.
I love you.
Right. Look, every now and then,
how much I care.
You are, right?
Art. I love everything that you do, Art, and I really love your show. And let me tell you something. You're so beautiful, and everything that you do for Chicago, I love it. I love everything that you do, Art. I love it. I love it. Okay, let me stop playing around.
No, you are amazing. Listen, Kevin. We do get a couple of haters, and I block them, and then I politely say, listen, this is not that type of show. This is a show where we want to be fair, honest. We want everybody to be heard. We want you to understand where we're coming from as African-Americans. Right. We are African-Americans that are very diverse people that embrace all people. And so, a lot of times people think we just one way, Kevin. They think we just hot sauce and collard greens and cornbread.
We are not that. We are a very diverse, beautiful people, and we love hard. We love each other. Sometimes we get a little lost, but we are the lost tribe.
We are. Well, I'm glad to, hear that. Well, now, Kevin, our next segment this evening is a really great segment. And I'm actually excited that you're here tonight because you got a chance to meet a couple of these people when you were hanging out in the studio. You know the faces, all of that great stuff. Well, 5 years ago, I was given the opportunity to do a once a week radio show on WVON. And with 1 year's time, the show went from one night to 4 nights a week. And whenever you go to do that type of show, you've got to have a support team of people to help you. And I never really got the chance to formally thank all of these people. I'm like, oh, thank you. I appreciate you. I love you. Merry Christmas, all that kind of stuff. But tonight is a reunion of the people who were kind of there in the beginning. Some of these people are on-air talent currently at VON. Others are people who work in their corporate jobs and lend me a hand. Others have been interns they were interns on the show, and they have really great success stories. So now, to be fair tonight, I think I need to bring the wife in first, because if you don't bring the wife in, she kind of get mad and upset. You know what I'm saying?
I remember her.
Yeah. She the type of woman that if I don't give her kudos, she's gonna be mad and upset. And I think everybody kind of want the wife to come in first. My former radio wife, currently the news director at WVON 1690 AM. Well, if you ain't the news director, you should be. Tell them that, put it on your business card tomorrow. The one and only Miss Robin Lewis.
Well, hello,
I remember Robin. Hey.
Hi.
Hey, Robin.
Hi, everybody.
I remember Robin. How are you doing?
I remember you as well. I'm doing fine, thank you.
All right.
Robin,
by the way, that
amazing.
former. But thank you, love. I did a little something to the hair, wearing it the way it grows out of my head. Did I say my former
radio wife, babe?
You did,
babe. Did I say my former? Did I?
You better check that.
I'm sorry.
You did. Because I was getting ready to. Because I was getting ready to. I was going to jump. Once you said former, I was ready to pounce because she's doing something with that necklace a little bit in those spectacles now. I'm like, hey, wait a minute now.
Too much, right? Right.
Right,
baby. Never former, always forever.
Hi, Robin. How you doing, honey?
I'm doing fine, love. How are you?
I'm good.
I'm doing great.
I'm good. Yes, people are saying hi to you on TV.
Thank
you, darling. You
hello, everyone. Well. Hello, everybody.
Robin,
yes.
You and I developed on the air. I walked in, was put on the microphone, didn't really know anybody.
Right.
And we were paired together.
Right.
And chemistry developed. How did it even happen? Do you remember?
I just know that it seemed as if we were equally yoked. That everything, pardon my adjustments here, that every time there was conversation being had, that things just would come out of my mouth. And then things would just come out of your mouth back to me. And then we just intertwined. It was kismet. It was wonderful. I don't know what day. I don't know what time. I don't know how far we were in months or years, but it was just meant to be.
It was. I tell people, I said, here's the deal. I walked into place, really didn't have anything developed or how the show would be. I just knew I wanted to do an entertainment variety show. I wanted it to be different for people to listen to, a palate cleanser. And really, I walked in with maybe one or two other people. That other person being my good friend, Helena. Helena Smith kind of got in the car, went with me. And I don't even know how that even, happened. And for a long time, she was on. And I guess the conversations we were having was so good that we really became a family. Let's bring our buddy, the original woman next to me, not my wife now. You know, she's the original other woman. Bring in Helena Smith. Hey, Helena.
Hey there. How are you? Hi, everyone.
Hi, love.
Hi.
Hey, Tina.
I am so
How
proud
you
of you,
been?
Art. I am fine. I am so proud of you. You are still moving forward in this business, and you just never stop. You have been doing this for a very long time, and you are continuously pushing the boundaries and keeping people informed. And yet, you don't have to be ugly or nasty about it. You do it in a very professional and very respectful manner, and I just always appreciated that.
Well, Helena, thank you. I love you so much. How did we even connect for you to even help me start the show? You know what I'm saying? Because I remember, look, we weren't even on Facebook. You created all of that, and just kind of. Do you remember the first night on the air?
I remember listening to the show. And I was like, I was so excited when I heard that you was going to do the show in the first place. So I remember listening to the show, and I said, I want everybody to hear this show. And I went to all of my social media outlets and used, the hashtags that you put out there to make sure everybody could listen. So I do remember the first time I was listening to the show, and it was actually, I was listening on the radio, and I'm like, oh my God, everybody needs to hear this show. This is really, really, this is so good. So I just started doing that. And then you were like, oh, you know what? Why don't you come into the studio? I really appreciate that. And let's just kind of take this to the next step moving forward. And that's just how it all started.
Wow. I tell people I must drink a lot because I don't remember any of that. Right. I'm like, all I know is that there was a microphone. All I know is I had for 2 hours and 59 minutes exactly.
Oh, wow.
It was almost like a operating bed in a motel. You know what I'm saying? So I for 2 hours and 59 minutes I had to talk and just keep talking and don't ever let the mic go dead. And so really, Helena, I thank you so much. I do. I thank you for everything that you brought to the show, helping to get the show off the ground, just, being there for me. And I really do appreciate you. And so the next person we're going to introduce tonight is the gentleman who was behind the board. He was the engineer of the show, the rule man. He really was my boss, but over a course of time, he really
my nemesis.
my brother, my friend.
My nemesis.
Very proud of him now. Joseph walking.
She made my phone fall down.
Hold on. There he is. There's a Joseph. Yay.
What's happening?
Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I can hear you.
We can hear you clearly. How you doing tonight?
Oh, I am.
We got you. How you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm incredible, man. I'm enjoying myself. How you doing? Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Absolutely.
Where are you? Move my mind up in here.
Where are you?
I am in a hotel.
Well, we can see that because it looks so bland.
I thought I had that honor.
Oh, stop.
Ain't nothing going on back here. Trust me.
No, I'm not in West.
We're a medium range budget show, so whatever background we can get, what we get, right?
I can have my jewelry.
So, well, that is true. We're gonna tell everybody what you do. Oh Lord, you selling jewelry on my show, Robin?
No, not at all. No.
Well, look, I love a woman with money. I do. So yeah, that works out.
I think we all do.
So Joseph, how long were you the engineer on the show? What?
On your show, maybe 4 years since you started.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Since you started.
Wow. Okay.
For like 7 years. About 7 years. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And now you're traveling the world for your job. I think that's great.
Oh yeah, I get to see the world. You wanted me to be a flight attendant, and look, I'm out here traveling states in other ways now.
I did.
Yeah.
That's fabulous.
Right. I used to say, Joseph, because you have such a great personality, a great demeanor, I said you'd be an excellent flight attendant. And I don't know. And then he ends up getting a job where he gets to travel and meet the flight attendant. So I think that's more up his alley. I think that's more your liking, right?
But I'm good. How everybody doing?
All right. Well, we had We actually good. How, Helena, you doing okay?
I'm doing fine.
Helena, baby.
Hey, Joseph. Hey.
And then you got Robin.
And then look at Robin. She got a girl. Look.
I got my what?
Look, Robin got her girls and she got them polished. She got her girls out tonight. Look.
Oh, wait a minute now.
Look, you got your decolletage going on, Robin.
At least you don't have her toes
All right,
out.
well, we had a plethora of interns. I knew he was gonna go there. I knew he was gonna talk about her toes. I knew he was gonna talk about her toes. I knew. I'm sure you will, babe. Look, don't be showing another man your toes.
You getting my toes.
All right, so listen, over the years, we had about 20 different interns who joined us. Well, 2 of our superstar interns are tonight. One is Kiara Donald, and she is a senior in college, graduating. And then the other one is our buddy, Mr. Beck, who is now a husband, who now has a great job, and who we are very proud of him. And we knew that he was an incredible young man. So let me see. Look, let me see if I know how to work this and bring everybody on. Let's see if Kiara's ready. Kiara.
Hey, Kiara.
Hey, everybody.
How are you?
Hey, how are y'all?
Oh,
good.
Great. Oh
Where
my
is she?
God.
And then wait, let me bring Tyler in, you guys. Hold on, and here we go. And
Oh my God.
What up, Tyler?
Y'all, look at this. Look at this.
That's right. All praise.
Oh, that's right. Y'all need Jesus. Y'all need Jesus. Right.
Somebody here needs Jesus.
Hey, Tyler, do me a favor. Tell everybody about your intern experience with us on the show while I help Kiara get back in the room.
For sure. So, hey, how's it going, everybody? It's good to see y'all. Man, my intern experience at WVON, specifically with the Art Chat Daddy Sim show and team, we had Mallory Saunier, we had Robin, we had Joseph, and it was just fantastic. It's like when you're with family. I think that's what the point that Chat Daddy was getting with earlier is that, everybody just kind of becomes a family, when you're rocking with our Chat Daddy Sim show. It was fun. It was my first intern experience straight out of college. I needed some intern credits, and he came and took me under his wing, just like this. Had one reference under my belt, and he gave me the experience that I was looking for, within the radio field. Granted, I didn't push towards going to radio for a career, but still, it was a fantastic experience to be under my belt and just to understand like the inner workings of radio and everything like that. Like I said, got so many memories of working with, Chad Daddy, working with Joseph over there. Joseph, by the way, to this day, I still eat those Nature Valley almond bars. Yes. And I just recently discovered they got the coconut flavor bars now. So yeah, I've been on those for real. And then, you have Robin over there giving the traffic reports and everything like that. Today's traffic, we got to, she put it on everybody out there. Everybody
Whip the traffic on you.
Stop right here. Mm-hmm. So right. It was fantastic, and we just had fun there. Between all the different guests that we had, I got to meet Takaya Crystal Kama. As you all know, that's probably she was the mom who played on That's So Raven, but she also before that was in Living Color. Fantastic, phenomenal woman. I think that night I was definitely like starstruck just because I was like, she was one of my favorite characters in both of those shows. And also just getting to see a lot of different talent that's out there in the city of Chicago that you would never know because everybody's kind of vying for that, that spot to get in that spotlight. And with that being said, Chad Daddy, he gave that platform for people to be heard and to be seen. So whether, you were singing, whether you were acting, whether you had something informative going on for the neighborhood and for community, that's what I believe that one of the big pluses about Art's show is that it's a platform for all those things good out there. like he said earlier, you know, we ain't got no time for, you know, for the mess. And much to your point earlier, Helena, like but he was, you know, he's just doing something
You
great.
too.
You know, yeah.
You were we. You were we.
All of us.
You were
Right,
we.
you're right. We.
Absolutely.
You
Right.
were we. Yeah, you were we. We
we're
don't
all
do
a
just,
part of this greater mission. Right. We're all a part of this greater mission in order to like put the blessings out there of our people in our community out there on radio. Like I said, I couldn't imagine having a better experience coming straight out of college and needing the experience that I did. I got it and then more. And then now you have all these, you know, wonderful lifelong friends. And like I said, to see Joseph traveling around the world, he on his push-up, he made me want to get my push-up game up.
Hey.
Right.
all right, look, I want to try to bring Kiara in real quick. So hold tight. She's having trouble logging in. So let me try to get her in. Look, it might be this shoddy Wi-Fi. Look, I think that's what it is. We might have too many people on here. Lord, it's supposed to be up to 9 people. Wait.
It's starting to look like the Brady Bunch intro.
It's all right. That's all right. We are the Brady Bunch.
Here's a story of a man named R who was bringing up Jesus. Hey, so
wait a minute, y'all.
Tyler,
Kiara, come on, tell us everything. We're glad to see you. Tell everybody what you're doing, what year of school, and then talk about your internship. Go ahead.
Hey, everybody. Sorry about that. My computer was.
Oh no, I can't hear her.
Oh,
okay.
I can hear her.
We can hear her.
I
got you.
We hear you.
Yeah, go ahead. Look, I'm on the Prime Code plan. They might cut us off. Go ahead.
He said Prime Co. He did not say Prime Co. I know he didn't.
I've never. Oh my God.
I'm in my senior year at Kentucky State University. I'm a double major in mass communications and political science with a minor in African American history. Currently studying for the LSAT and the GRE, going to grad school after I leave, and yeah, living life.
Proud of. How was your internship with us, Kiara?
Oh, I loved it. Getting that experience before going, while in college and before really delving into my mass comm major, it gave me a better understanding of what I wanted to do with my major, and it gave me a lot of experience that helped me in classes. And I think I either text you or tag you on Facebook when I told my advisor about the internship. He was like, "Oh, that can count for college credits." So I literally didn't have to take a couple of classes because of the internship, and it was amazing. Like just being able to being behind the scenes and actually like talk on the radio, it was really great, and I loved it so much.
Well, all
right. We so proud
awesome.
of you. Tyler, I'm proud of you. Kiara, I'm proud of
you. I got a couple of questions, Art. So did you and Tyler talk to each other before y'all jumped on with the matching shirts?
No.
Do y'all need Jesus joints?
See that too.
Because I feel left out. I'm gonna be real honest, because I do need Jesus.
Me too.
And I have no shirt to reflect that.
See, this is a Scorpio connection right there. That's what that is. We both have the whole world.
Art is my guy, and he posted on Facebook today a picture of himself, a selfie, and I said, "Oh, that's a nice shirt." And now he got the shirt on. You got the shirt on. Y'all didn't tell nobody where to get the shirt. Left us out in the cold.
No. But you know, y'all got the whole all black thing going on.
I got Jesus
so
though.
I
do have Jesus though. So
right.
Y'all
I shouldn't play around.
I got Jesus.
I've been knowing Kiara since the day her parents brought her home from the hospital. That's how long I've been knowing
Wow.
That's intense.
Wow.
All my life.
Uh-oh. Come back to us, Art. Come back. Come back.
It's that Prime Code connection.
Come back. Come back. Dr. Strange, come back.
There you are.
Can y'all not hear me?
Now you can.
Okay, so
Uh-oh. Gotta get Boost Mobile.
Okay, well, I'm gonna take us to cocktail hour because we would always have to have a cocktail.
Or we'll have to go to commercial. This hour of the Chat Daddy Show is brought to you by
right. I made myself a cocktail.
Am I back?
Cheers to art. Yes, now we can. Oh wait.
Okay. Cheers.
Joseph got a jug.
And listen, after 1 week of working with Tyler, I said to him, "Tyler, you're my son." Didn't I say that to you, Tyler?
I remember as clear as
day.
Did
he hear what I said?
Wow.
Yep. He said it.
Yep.
Look, don't it reflect?
Yep. After 1 week, I said, "Tyler, yep." So that's how Tyler and I think. That we think just alike. I'm so proud of you. Congratulations on your marriage, Tyler.
Thank you. I appreciate
Proud
it.
of you too.
As married now.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yay.
So
Many
you're married
blessings.
and a homeowner.
Yeah. Married, homeowner, and now a kindergarten teacher. So look, 2020 been good for me.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for making me feel like a failure. Well, Tyler, thank you for making me feel like a failure. He's married. He's got a great education. He owns a home. I'm sitting here in an apartment.
Wait a minute.
No Jesus T-shirt. Thanks a lot, Tyler. Congratulations.
And no art behind you. And no art behind you.
Right.
And no art. Nothing. A plain white wall and hand sanitizer. And hand sanitizer. That's my evening. That's all we got over here, folks. That's all I got for you.
What's in your future? Kiara, what's in your future after graduation, hon?
After graduation, I'm planning on going to graduate school and law school simultaneously, and just pursuing what I want to, going into policy reform and education reform.
Wow.
Nice. Yeah, you gotta applaud that because she's doing that
Absolutely.
thing.
Good job.
So Kiara, I gotta thank you because I didn't know that they still had mass comm. Like when I went to college, back when I was in college, Madonna was the biggest artist in the world. So that's a long time ago. And to hear mass comm makes me feel so good that they still have that at college.
Most definitely. It's one of the biggest majors, actually.
For real.
Great.
Very good. Now, Robin, when you're not being an anchor woman and being my wife, you also have a side hustle that's doing quite well. You are a celebrity in the jewelry world, right?
So I've been told. First and foremost, I'm the mother of 2 teenage girls who, that is a job of my life. And I'm also the daughter of 2 parents, 196 and 193.
Yeah.
I am always busy. And the fact that I have time to work a full-time job, I'm on call as a substitute teacher, be a mother, be a homeowner, and everything that goes to be a daughter. I also, I sell jewelry.
She got the whole joint in the background. I'm not mad at you.
Wow.
I am not mad at you.
This is the setup here. Look at this setup.
Let me tell you, I do. I sell $5 bling. I am an independent consultant with paparazzi, jewelry, and accessories.
I love it.
Let me tell you something. It is fun. You know how sometimes we'll come home from work or our day and we get on a game to decompress? You know, even if it's an app on our phone, we decompress with that. I was doing that sometimes, or I'll turn on the TV, watch something, and it wasn't doing anything for me. It wasn't bringing any money in. It was just having me sit like a lump on a log, maybe having a snack, and then going to bed. Well, let me tell you, I come home, I set up a little setup, just like we have here somewhat, and get on Facebook and sell jewelry. And you would think that $5 jewelry is not going to bring a whole lot in, but no. I'm here to tell you it does. Oh, yes, it will.
Yes, it will.
Because let me tell you, last week alone, one customer bought $345 worth of merchandise, and then turned around, saw her a second time in the same week, and bought $130 worth of merchandise. So I get 45% commission on everything I sell, whether it be from my home inventory, from a website that my company gives me, or I haven't done this because of the pandemic, vending events, you earn money. And of course, there's this team building aspect to the whole company where you can earn money. And today just happened to be paparazzi payday, and I saw my residuals. I have only one business partner, but I do a whole lot in sales, and it's not only fun, I'm having the time of my life. It's you know me, I run my mouth all day, every day. I've been in the radio business.
We know.
I've been in the radio business for over 30 years. So running my mouth is something that comes naturally to me. So I get on Facebook and I sell my jewelry, and it's working for me. It's a decompressant, and it is a money earner. So when I got two girls, one is a senior going off to college next year. She'll have money in her pocket. She'll have a car to drive. My washer and dryer broke down a couple weeks ago. I went and was able to buy a washer and dryer.
Girl, we're running out of time.
Okay, I'm sorry. But anyway, I'm all good. I'm good.
Oh my goodness.
Cheers.
Hey, Art, wait a minute, Art. She panned the camera around. Remember how the astronauts used to do when they was in the space capsule? She panned the camera around and the jewelry was back there, and she had a little speech prepared. That was dope. I like that.
Wait, you want to get a close up?
Wait a minute. Only my wife. Listen, Robin, if I had not known better, I thought maybe the looters had brought all the inventory to your house.
Oh, stop. No, get this. Can you see it? Can you see it up close?
Yes.
We can see it. We can see it.
You want to buy something?
We can see it, booby. We can.
And look. At $5 a piece, trust me, one of the most popular, profitable stores these days is Family Dollar. When I go into Family Dollar with $7 and come out with 7 items, I feel like a king.
Right?
Man.
Yes, absolutely. So real quick, family, before we go, we're in the midst of a pandemic right now, something that we never thought would happen.
Never.
A lot of people have lost their lives. A lot of people, Kiara, I look at the fact that you're back on a campus again. Robin, I look at the fact that you report this as the news every night. Joseph, you're an essential worker. Helena, you're an essential worker. Tyler, you. What message of hope would you guys want to leave with the audience tonight? And I think I'm going to start with you, Miss Kiara, first, and we'll go around and let everybody give a message of hope for everybody tonight.
I knew you were going to start with me. I felt it in my spirit. My message of hope for everyone is to...
That's all right. We're proud of you. Look, we proud of you, baby Kamala. We proud of you. Go ahead.
That's right.
It's to be comfortable with the uncomfortable and to keep striving forward, even, because everything is so uncertain. Just find your niche and find what you're good at and what you enjoy. And this pandemic will go on as it goes on.
Very good. Well, we're proud of you. We can't wait to see when you get that diploma. We all gonna be there for you. Brother Tyler, I think I'll let you go next. New husband, new house, kindergarten teacher. And in a week, I told you were my son, and we matching outfits. Yep, there we go.
Look, it's meant to happen, right? Let's see. My hide your kids. Hide your wife, because the corona getting them. But no, I would have to say can't stop, won't stop. Can't stop, won't stop. Just because a lot of things that are going on around us that may seem like they're obstacles and they're barriers, which they very well might be. Use this as this opportunity for you to grow, right? You're never gonna get nothing that gets put on you more than you can bear. So if you really take this time and focus in and hone in on what your craft is and what it is that can make you prosperous, whether it's family, whether it's financially, whether it's relationships, what have you. Use this time to steep in the hot water and get stronger.
Look at you all profound.
Oh, I love it. I do.
Well, all right.
I know. Isn't that something? See?
Pass the collection plate.
Amen. Helena,
Pass the collection plate.
Here, and then we'll let you go. All right. Pass the plate. Go ahead, Miss Helena.
I think my message of hope would be that this too shall pass. I know that this is a very uncomfortable time, but I think it was also a time where we had to slow down and really readjust our lives. And we've been moving fast and moving forward so much. And this has forced us to really reassess our lives and to make those necessary adjustments, get reacquainted with family and friends. Where we haven't done that in the past. I don't think this is going to be something that's going to be forever. I think we are going to be able to move forward, and we're going to come out of this, and things are going to get better. I think we've seen, I believe that we've seen the worst of this particular pandemic. Things are going to get better. Positive times are coming.
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
All right, Helena, I love you so much. Do me a favor, tell Eva the Diva I send my love and give her a hug for me. I know you'll be close to her soon. So please tell her I send my condolences.
Okay.
Beautiful. Thank you. All right, Brother Joseph, we need you, Deacon. Go ahead and say a word of encouragement for everybody.
Praise the Lord, thanks. Praise the Lord, thanks. How you doing?
That's right. That's right.
Amen.
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 Well, I'm just the type of person, I encourage people every day down my timeline. If you go through and read a lot of things, and I just want people to just, study to prove yourself worthy. Don't fall into a lot of the negative situations, because we all trying to come out of this. We all lost people in our families. We lost friends. I ended up losing a lot of friends. And, I regret that, because I was supposed to go out with some people, and it turned out the situation didn't work right because of my job. But I encourage you to check on everybody, just show that love. It's not time for us to keep on hating people or feeling like we got something against somebody. We all are going through something. I just want you to stay positive and pray. Just keep your head up, because we all need each other during this time.
100.
Amen. Amen. You're absolutely right. Joseph, that was God bless you for that. Madam First Lady, don't sell no jewelry. We already know. We already look. We all gonna put our phone on the connection plate. Go ahead, Madam First Lady, and then tell everybody how they can listen to you every day. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So, guys, this is a tough time that we're dealing with. And as a person who reports on it every day, it can weigh heavy on you. I know how it weighs on me, but I have my outlets. I make sure that I do what I do, because I need that outlet more now than ever before. But what we need to do, we need to make sure that we have a president in office that will not let something like this hit us like this ever again. It was the inaction of our current that did not let us get somewhat prepared. Not that we could have, but we could have had a little bit more warning, a little bit more foresight. So, guys, let the pursuit of a better time be the driving force that gets you to the polls, number one, and that keep yourself healthy. This is a deadly disease. The numbers are going back up here in Illinois, as well as in areas around the country. You have to be diligent. You have to do everything you can. And this is a word of encouragement, because like Helena said, this too shall pass. But we want to be able to continue to go on after this does pass. So take care of yourself, take care of your family. If you have to stay, I have to stay away from my 96-year-old father and my 93-year-old mother. My heart breaks every day. I want to grab them and hug them and kiss them, but I can't. And I won't, because I want them to continue to live well into their 90s and even 100s. So God bless you all. Keep yourselves healthy. And those are my words.
All right.
Boy, the first
All
lady
right.
showed to know how to say it. Thank you, first. Thank you. You
Oh,
got any pound
and you
cake
can
and
listen
chicken?
to me. Wait. No, and you can listen to me every day. I am still the afternoon news anchor and news director at WVON. And you can catch me Saturday afternoons from 3 to 7 right here in my dining room selling $5 bling. Robin.
She got
So
it in.
That's what's going to get me tonight.
She's still got it in.
Ready with that. She was ready with that jewelry,
Follow
man.
me on Facebook at Robin Lewis.
Do you
And
understand me?
also like and follow my jewelry page
Hilarious.
at Robin's Pop-Up Shop. Mm.
Love you, Robin.
And shop my webpage
So
as
you
well.
all see why I would never divorce the Madam
You better not.
Of paparazzi jewelry. I will.
You better not.
All right, Assistant Pastor Kevin, go ahead with a few words of encouragement so we can get out of here.
Well, first of all, I'll end the way I started. All praises. No, I'm good. I should be good.
We hear you.
I can hear you.
I can hear
You
you.
got me?
Yes.
Okay.
We got you.
All right. So I'll finish the way I started. All praises to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, through whom all blessings flow. I'm nothing without him. It's been an honor and a pleasure to be on here with Art and all of you, all of these positive African American brothers and sisters. We all together. I would say this. For me, the first 30 days of the pandemic, I laughed, I cried, I panicked. I slept for 14 hours one day. I didn't shave for like a week. And so it took me about a month to get my footing. And once I got my footing underneath me, I realized that this is an opportunity for me to get better as a man, as a businessman, and really study. Because I think we spent a lot of time looking at basketball and football and live going to concerts and going to the beach and hanging out at 31st Street Pier and going to listen to house music. When in reality, I took this time to watch more documentaries than I ever have in my life. I've taken this time to read more ebooks than I ever have in my life. I've learned more about what it is to be an African American and our history in this nation, so that you can understand why there is why there are entrenched problems here, and why this country is in the state that it's in now, and why a pandemic could bring it to its knees in less than 3 months. There's a reason for that. The reason it was brought to its knees is because it was never as strong as they let on in the first place. So it's very important for us to read and understand our history, read and understand the history of these United States, so that we can hold people accountable, so that we can hold ourselves accountable. I spent a great deal of time now revisiting James Baldwin, Nina Simone, listening to them speak, the Black Panthers, Angela Davis, Eldridge Cleaver, Kathleen Cleaver, going back looking on YouTube at those old black and white speeches from Malcolm X. Malcolm and Martin tried to tell us years ago. So study, read, understand the Democratic Party, understand the Republican Party, understand the history of the police department, who started off as slave catchers. Understand all of these things so we have a clear picture of where we need to go. You can't have a clear picture of where you need to go until you see where you've been and you understand how it all works. So those are my words, and those are my things. You can catch me on Instagram at KROSS Chicago. That's KROS Chicago. And my marketing page is at TWOGUARD. That's Two Guard Media. You can catch me there. And I have some wonderful things coming up for Chicago. We're going to be working on a Herb Kent documentary here very soon. Long overdue. And some other things. So I would love you guys' support. And it was a pleasure to meet all of you guys. And it's really great to see what everybody's doing.
Yay!
Oh, I'm really excited about that Herb Kent documentary.
Yeah, we are too. It's going to be great.
My old coworker.
Can everybody hear me clearly?
Yeah.
Got you, brother.
Thank you. I love and appreciate each and every one of you for taking time out of your schedule to do this tonight. I'm very proud to know each and every one of you. You all have been very significant in that 5 years of me being at VON. And I appreciate you guys for what you do. You're all just great people. Kevin, great co-host tonight. Robin, you know, I feel everything in this world for you and about you. Helena, Joseph, Tyler, Kiera, I love you guys equally as well too. And just thank you for availing yourself tonight. I really do appreciate you guys.
Anytime.
I do. I really, really do.
I rushed home to get to you, baby.
All right. Well, don't. If I say co-host one evening, look, if I co-host, you better answer that call. Right.
There you go.
You know what to do. All
100.
right. Well, on behalf of all of these wonderful people. Oh, am I fading again?
You're fading out, brother.
A little bit.
Can you hear me?
Dr. Strange, you're fading out on us.
Stop.
Is it?
You're fading out
now?
Keep talking, boo.
Is it better now?
Keep going. Keep going.
Just keep going.
Is
keep going.
Still bad?
It's
no,
good.
keep
Go
going.
ahead.
Keep going.
Good. Keep going. Yeah.
All right. Is it better? Okay. All right. So listen, I'm going. I'm still talking. Is it that bad? All right.
You okay?
Over and out. Good night, everybody. Good night. Is it good? You guys can hear me?
We can hear you.
Yeah.
Trying to get rid of it.
All right. Thank you. All right. See y'all later. Bye. Here we go.
Wear your mask. Wear your mask.
Hold on. Wear your mask. Yes.
Wear your mask.
Hold on.